basically, I'm taking a look at how different football teams have done this season. I want to talk more about real-world football as well as games. So we are going to talk about Liverpool today and the fact that at the time of recording, last night they played Roma and that panned out quite interestingly. But before we get into that, some of you might not know on this channel, this is my good friend Adam. We were friends at university. He is my resident Liverpool fan. So I came over to watch the Champions League with him last night and it was quite interesting. So we'll start off by talking about that. Of course, it was a 5-2 win for your lads.
Unbelievable.
So just tell us a little bit about how you've been playing this season and...
Well, pretty much what we showed last night was pretty much how we've been playing all season. I mean, we've been playing some ridiculous football, and the front three, as it was last night, have been absolutely on fire, and they've been our main aspect of the season and how we've done. I think what we showed last night as well is we're still capable of conceding stupid goals at stupid times in games. Like we're winning 5-0 and we should be seeing out the game 5-0. Obviously, away goals are so important, you just don't want to concede. But as I say, like the previous Premier League game, we're 2-0 up at West Brom, cruising the last 10 minutes, and we end up drawing 2-2. So it's exactly the same as the Roma game.
Well, it reminds me a lot of Wednesday. I said this last night when we were watching Liverpool. I said they literally they can't do anything right, can they?
Yeah.
You go 5-0 up and then you let in 2 stupid goals. But for anybody who's been living under a rock, your front three are...
Yeah, well, Mo Salah's been unbelievable. We've got Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane, who's obviously he was our player of the season last year. Yeah,
so it was interesting because we were talking last night and you said that like Mane was undoubtedly your player of the season last season.
Yeah, he was, because we got him last summer, not the summer just gone, the summer before that. And there was a few question marks over his price because he was quite pricey at the time. I think it was about 32 million or something, which for because he was a Southampton player, it was sort of like, oh, that's a big amount of money for quite a player who's quite inconsistent. And
and he showed that last night in fairness.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing last night. He had a few really good chances, especially in that first half. He should have scored. I mean, last season and as well this season, he's been really good. He's been finishing those sort of chances.
See what we will do then. We'll make this a little bit easier for our sort of workflow here, because obviously I've never done anything like this on the channel before. We'll talk about last night as a game, and then we'll talk about Liverpool's sort of a broader spectrum, because obviously this is fresh off the heels of that first leg. So it was 5-2. It was 2 Mo Salah goals. It was 2 Firmino goals, was it?
Yeah. Firmino goals and Mane.
Yeah, Mane was with 1. So straight out the bat, to me, you seem really up for it. Like, I've not really watched you play that much this season, so that's why I brought you on to here to have an overall chat. So, your sort of attacking football. Did you start the game how you wanted?
It was a weird start because the previous round against Manchester City at Anfield, obviously when the atmosphere was absolutely crazy, like the best it's been in probably like 10 years since our previous Champions League games.
Yeah.
Obviously before the game there was a bit of issue with the Man City bus, but that atmosphere that the fans have created, and I think it just drives the players on. Like, it makes them, just gives them that extra bit of energy that happened in the previous Man City game, and we sort of blew Man City away from the first minute. Whereas this game, Roma started really well. Like the first, like you were watching it with me, like the first 20, 25 minutes, Roma shut the crowd up. They played really smart. They didn't give the ball away. They kept it simple, and they created, I think, a few chances. Obviously, I think they ended up hitting the bar. And I was feeling about the time, it was a bit strange because that's not usually how the games go at Anfield. Usually we absolutely fly out the traps and we're at them from minute 1.
See, that's what I've heard. Klopp's style of football, it's attacking football. You've obviously let a few too many goals in, but it's one of those, they're really fun to watch sort of teams. And I'm openly admitting that I'm trying to get into the Premiership a bit more, because obviously me being a Championship guy, out of no choice of my own really, has meant that obviously that's where my focus has been. But since I've been looking into Premiership and watching more of it, like Liverpool have been one of the teams that are exciting to watch. The thing is with last night, the start, obviously Ox got injured, and I don't know if you know the full extent of that yet. I know Klopp was saying it seems quite bad, but I don't know if anything more's come out this morning.
No, nothing more's been said. I think they're just going to assess it more, but it's interesting that, because recently he's been the only player out of the midfield 3 that we play who sort of drives on and makes the link up between the midfield and the attack. And without him, or with obviously as it was last night after Ox came on with Wijnaldum, Milner and Henderson, all 3 of those are similar players. Sort of the very conservative, and they're very good passers, but the more sort of side passes are willing to give it to the front three, and then the front three go and do what they want. Whereas Ox is a player who loves to join in, like he'll make the drive and run forward and play like a quick pass as he did in our last game against West Brom.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been assisting Salah for the past couple of games as well. So it was interesting to see when he came off how he played. But I think it must have been 0-0 still at that time.
It was, because that's the thing. Like, I remember saying to you last night, I went, "Ooh, the fact that he's," because I remember you made a comment when Wijnaldum came on that like Wijnaldum's a solid player, but he's not really got that creative flair that Ox has got. He doesn't create goals. He doesn't score goals.
Yeah, and every Liverpool fan knows that Wijnaldum, he's one of those players that he's got the potential to be a really good football player. He's really athletic, but sometimes it's like he's playing within himself. But I thought yesterday when he came on, he was outstanding. Like, he made some really good passes, some key passes. He was solid in midfield as well.
Well, it didn't seem a detriment when he came on, did it? It seemed like you still sort of took on, and then you've got obviously Mo Salah. Let's talk a little bit about Mo Salah yesterday, because obviously the first goal came from him.
Yeah, what a goal it was.
Honestly, just like watching Wednesday. The goal was insane. Obviously, it was the first goal was the crossbar goal, wasn't it? Where he couldn't have hit that better. I don't think I've seen a goal like that, really. Been watching it live, I don't think I've ever seen a goal like that.
I think he's done that 2 or 3 times this season, where he's in the corner of the box, and he's just taken it onto his left foot and he's bent it right in the corner. There's one against Everton at home where he did exactly the same, one against Southampton where he did exactly the same, bent it into the corner. But this one was much better, because it hits the crossbar, goes right in the corner.
The keeper was nowhere near. It was almost from a standing start as well. Like he'd stopped and then dinked it. Yeah. And that, I love seeing goals like that, because there's so much power and skill around it. It reminds me of a FIFA goal. You finessed it.
Exactly. But like Salah, everyone's saying, "Oh, you got to keep him off that left foot because he's so dangerous coming back inside." But it's like impossible. He's like got that messy centre of gravity where he just moves the ball a second, and that second is enough for him to fire it in the corner, which he's done so many times this season. That's why so many people have struggled to stop him, and why he's got like 31, 32 goals now in the Premier League. He's just unbelievable. But last night, that sort of kick-started it, and it was like Roma were playing so high up that back four was like almost on the halfway line, which was giving us no time to pass between each other. And then suddenly it was like, oh, just play it over the top. Yeah. There's so much room in
You noticed that as soon as that sort of kicked off, people hitting long balls over the top.
Yeah, I don't know if
football.
I don't know if it was something that Klopp said, but there's so much space in there. We've got Mane and Salah, who are 2 of the fastest players like in the world right now. So just use the pace, and
you've ripped them apart. It was that one thing that like the missed opportunities were stupid though, because one of the best attacks that I saw, which actually didn't end up converting in the end, is when Mane. He got it hit to him, he flicked it off sort of his back heel in front of him over his head and pelted it down. He had so space 1-on-1 and he puts it over. Like that chance for me, the first touch was the best first touch all that game. Just to be at pace and to quickly, like with your back heel, put that in front of you. That was showing the kind of player that you've told me he is and things like that. And,
but I think as well, I remember you saying that last night, like it was so crucial to get that second goal before half time, that Salah goal, because we've missed chances, and you're thinking, always as a football fan, you know that we're going to get punished for.
I was nervous for you when I watched that, because I was like, they've played really well, but what would I be saying if I was the Roma manager going in at half time? I'd be saying, I'd be first of all, I'd have tightened up that back. I'd have gone to the back 4 a lot quicker than he did, because the back 3 wasn't working. They were getting it over the top. He didn't do that at half time, but I thought he was going to do that at half time. I thought he was going to condense that back and just think, look, we need to stop conceding. He didn't do that at all. You got the second goal going in. They thought, no, we still need to attack this. We need to get the away goal.
And I was just saying, like, as you said, I thought when the players came out for the second half, I thought, right, they're going to shut up shop here. They won't want to concede anymore, and they'll go to maybe a back 4, and then they'll sit on the edge of their box. But they just came out and they did exactly the same thing. Like, they just didn't take Salah. They didn't mark him all, and he was just had the freedom of the world on that right hand side.
The Salah second goal before half time, that was
the one where he just ran through and chipped the keeper.
Even when I remember when that chip left his foot, I was like, has he put enough power on that to actually go over the keeper? Because you always worry when defenders running, but that was a good goal. And then you come out second half, and as you said, Roma just seem to, maybe it's overconfidence or confusion, but overconfidence thinking, no, we can do this, we can turn it round. Whereas I genuinely think with them being at their place next, they should have shut up shop.
Yeah.
Because it clearly wasn't working, that back three. But in hindsight, if you think about it, if you've got confidence in your team at 2-0, do you give up?
Yeah, I mean,
Just
away
'cause it's
goals
too
are so
late.
important as well.
Yeah.
I thought they might try and go for it in a more attacking sense, but we just didn't give them a chance in about the first. I think it was up until about the 65th minute where we went 3-0 and 4-0 with Firmino obviously and Mane, and then it was sort of like, how many can we actually get? We should have been like 8-0 up by then for the chances we missed. Obviously then we go 5-0 up with the Firmino header, and you're thinking, this tie's done now. Like, we just shut up shop, or we might even get another goal. And we go to Rome with a 5-0 lead, but then you're thinking, 5-0 lead, you've won the tie pretty much. Because in the last 16, we were against Porto in the last 16, we won 5-0 away.
Yeah.
And then it was 0-0 at home, so we just thought, we'll just get the job done.
Well, you saw the faces around Anfield when
Yeah.
we'll talk about the goals first before we get to them scoring. So obviously 2-0 at half time, you come back out. There's two from it's not two Firmino goes straight off the bat, is it? Mane scored in between.
Yeah, Mane was the third.
So Mane, I forgot how he scored. Remind me.
Yeah, it was Salah again down the right, and then he just
crossed it.
Cut it back to Mane. Yeah.
It's not as easy to score like that as you think. Like, that's it first time, but obviously that's what they paid for. It was a decent goal, and then Firmino with 2 to round it off 5-0.
Yeah.
That's when you should have shut up shop, in my opinion. Like, you're taking Salah off, which I've seen on a lot. Do you know what's weird? I've seen on a lot of social media people having a go at Klopp this morning.
Yeah,
Salah
the
off.
thing is,
like,
the same
what if he
thing.
gets injured?
The same thing happened against West Brom. We took Salah off at 2-0 up and thinking, oh, the game's dead. And suddenly, I don't know whether it's something of the mindset of the Liverpool players where it's, our best player's gone off. We're not going to be as good going forward, so we'll drop back and we'll just shut up shop. But dropping back invites pressure, and then all of a sudden you conceding stupid goals where you shouldn't be.
Okay, so that's pretty much the tie there. We'll talk about the fact that obviously there was a stun around Anfield when they started getting away goals. I'm not that confident for you, and now they've got 2 away goals. Obviously, it's still a great result. 5-2 is a great result. Yeah. But let's, before we start talking about the next leg and the rest of the Champions League, let's talk a bit more about your squad, because it leads on perfectly there, what you were talking about, squad depth.
Yeah.
You take Salah off, he's your best player.
Yeah, I think the trouble is this season we haven't had many injuries to key players. I think we've had injuries to fringe players. So obviously Lallana's been out he was out all season, but he came back I think a couple of games, and then he got injured again, so we haven't had him for pretty much all season.
Yeah.
Chan was a long-term injury. I think from about start of March maybe he got injured, and he's out for the rest of the season now. And obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain now is out for the rest of the season. So we've got 3 first team players now, and midfield players, and that's it now. So if we get another injury in midfield, it's going to be interesting to see what Klopp does, really. Yeah,
because that's the one thing that you haven't got is depth. You've got the quality, and your first 11, as you've said before, your first 11 is amazing, but then your depth goes nowhere really, which is what the likes of Man City have got. They've got great squad depth, and that's what separates you at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's why Man City is so far ahead, is when one of their players gets injured, they bring in a player of pretty much equal quality, and it's like, well, they're not even weakened by their injury because they've still got the same quality in there.
They remind me of me on FIFA. When you get to that stage of like, you're about 4 seasons in, you've won things, so you've got all the FIFA money, and you sign Neymar as a backup, sort of like on the bench, that sort of level. That's what ends up happening in FIFA, and that's what Man City remind me of. And I kind of hope it doesn't continue like that, because it'll get boring, the Premier League, if it's always Man City with all this ridiculous wealth. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people give them a lot of stick, but I admire what they've done, because I admire them being a club that were of considerable size, had a lot of crap, but then got bought and got lucky with money. They got lucky with their owner, and maybe I'm saying this because now we've got a rich owner, but like, it is nice to see that it's not like you're taking a team that have got no history and putting a load of money into it and making it a complete franchise. You're franchising a team that have already got some history, and they've always been the underdog in the city. And it's nice to see Manchester have 2 big clubs now to sort of compete with each other. Because it's also made the Premier League more interesting between Man City and Man United, hasn't it? There's that to it.
Yeah.
Story for another day. That then we'll go back onto Liverpool.
Yeah, squad depth. I think the thing is with, like we were saying before, with Salah, we don't really have a replacement or anywhere near the quality of Salah at the moment. So when he gets taken off, we'll bring on either Ings, it's usually been, or Dominic Solanke, who they're both young players. Obviously, Ings isn't that young, but he's had no football the last 2 years. So we struggle to maintain the same attacking power with Salah out of the front three, which obviously again happened last night, which is why we end up conceding 2, because we don't possess the same attacking threat. But yeah, the squad depth, I think it needs to be better. I think that's one thing that Klopp will address in the summer. We've got to get a replacement that's of a higher quality for that front three if one of them gets injured, or even similar last night, just bring him on in place of one of them, and then we've got the same quality going forward. So that, I think, is a big thing for the summer.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. In the summer, who would you sign if you had to look at it? Because we already know we've got Naby Keita coming in.
Yeah,
who is good on FIFA.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop saying that. But like, we already know you've got him coming in, so that's an option in your midfield. But who would you sign with? Let's take out the Champions League for now. So obviously you'd have different. If you could have an ideal sort of signing, what would it be? Let's not put Champions League money and stuff in there to complicate things. Let's just say who would you sign?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough at this moment because there's not that many forwards that are available that want to move at the moment. I'm just trying to think. I think one person we have spoken about was Timo Werner from Red Bull Leipzig, whose character's coming from. And he's sort of Red Bull Leipzig. They're not looking like they're going to qualify for the Champions League this season. He's a really quality player. But then again, it's like, will he want to sit on the bench for the majority of the games? Obviously, we'll play quite a lot of the games because we need those front three rested at some point. But I think he'd be an ideal player because he's young as well, and he's pretty talented. So I think he'd be great to have.
Would you do anything about your defence?
I think with defence, I think we need another quality centre back. Van Dijk coming in January was immense. I think he's exactly what we need in that back four. We needed someone who's going to be a leader and someone who's going to be commanding, because we've not had that for the past few years. I think ever since Jamie Carragher left, really, we've not had a person who organises, and which is why I've conceded so many stupid goals. But yeah, another one in the back four to go alongside Van Dijk. And I think I then have Lovren as a third centre back because Lovren's good, but he makes a lot of silly mistakes.
Yeah, like last night there was one
just
bit
kill
where I
you.
just went, oof.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't
he's
remember
played
exactly
well.
what
I mean,
it
he
was.
played well last night. He had a few moments, a few scary moments, but I mean, generally over the past few months, Van Dijk coming in has made him a better player. We've got Joel Matip as well, who's out injured as well, who's come in last summer, but he's another one where you're thinking any moment he's going to make a stupid mistake and cost us the game, whereas Van Dijk, it's like, you know, he's going to be so consistent and he's not going to give anything away. So we need another top quality centre back. But then again, the question is, who can you get? Like, who can we get? There's talk of actually John Stones coming from Manchester City because he's
that'd be a solid
out
sign
of
for
favour,
you.
and you're looking at, can Van Dijk make him a quality player having him next to him?
But you've got the thing like
John Stones
money.
again.
It's money.
Yeah.
He's going to cost
What
a
are they going to
fortune.
want for him?
Yeah, like because he's going to a Premier League rival, arguably the only team that's really going to challenge him next season. In my opinion, Liverpool are going to be the main challengers next season, and that's out of bias because if you keep Salah, which I'm thinking you will, and you add to the depth that you've done, like you did with Mane, I reckon you'll be solid for title race because you've got something different. The other teams just are more boring. You are predictable in the way that you're like, if you're on form, it's your day. Whereas a lot of teams aren't like that. They can be played brilliantly and just it all goes to crap. Whereas you either play terribly or amazingly well.
Yeah, I think the big thing this season, again, it's every year it's consistency. Like Man City have just been Man City have just been relentless. They've just picked up point after point, and you just think they're never going to drop points. And we've got to achieve that same consistency over the past couple of years. There's always games like this season. It's been the same where we've dropped stupid points at home. Like we've had so many draws at home, so many defeats. Well, not so many defeats. I think we've only lost about 4 games this year. But draws is the big thing. We've got to turn all the draws we've had to wins. And I think if we do that and we make some signings for backup and squad depth, I think we should be right up there. Really.
Are you content with your goalkeeping situation?
No. I think that's one issue, the big main issue going into summer, is that yes, we need backup players, but we need a top quality goalkeeper. Karius is getting a lot better since we signed him in the summer. He's looked a bit nervy because he's been in and out of the team with replacing him with Mignolet, and I was thinking that's not helped. Like Klopp, he's a great manager, but he has rotated the keepers, and early on in the season that didn't help at all. Like they need to get a solid base. I think Mignolet definitely had his time and he's not been good enough, so I think he'll go in the summer. And the one keeper I want is Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid. I mean, if we can get him, he always seems to have the highest save percentage in world football. Like when you look at the charts, he seems solid, like catching.
In not a very good league though.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
to be fair, with the goalkeeper, it's a little bit different.
But they did get to the Champions League final
a
couple of years ago, and he was solid in there.
Actually, disregard what I said there, because it's different to having a good striker. Because a good striker can score in any league, but they've also a case of like, it's so much harder to save a goal. So even in a crappy league, good goalkeepers are good goalkeepers.
Yeah, and then again,
it's not a crappy league. It's just I wouldn't say it's as competitive as the Premiership, because all the Premiership teams have got some quality, whereas some in there you're like, oh.
Well, then again, it's money.
Yeah.
Like how much? I think we've shown, which was a really interesting thing to see with Van Dijk, was we are prepared, like Man City, to go in and pay whatever it takes to get the best player.
We got the Coutinho side, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll sell you Westwood for $6 million. I'm sure he'd be. You were sniffing around him a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, we might be better than back at the Mignolet at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Oblak. We've talked about that. I mean, Alisson obviously was in net for Roma last night. We've looked like we've been after him for a while as well. But he's another one where he's just not at the same level as your Oblaks, as your De Gea, your top quality keepers. And I think if there's a chance we can get Oblak, just go pay the money. Just go get him, and it'll make us such a better team. So I think that's what we should do if we can get him.
No, I'd agree. Your keeper situation looks a little bit, because there was one moment where last night he just completely misjudged it, and for a keeper at the highest level you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So that's about your squad. That's about your summer, what you think you should do. What do you think is going to happen with the rest of the Champions League? Let's look forward to the second semi-leg. Second semi-leg.
I think
that's strange.
I think we're still in a great position. I mean, if you just said before the game 5-2, I'd probably taken it. I mean, score 5 goals in a Champions League semi-final is ridiculous. Yeah. Obviously, we know Roma, the previous leg, they had to win 3-0 to get through against Barca, and they did it, so we've got to be so wary. Barca, obviously, is such a good team, and they couldn't even score at Roma. And obviously, Roma haven't conceded at all at home in the Champions League this season, so that's going to be a worry. But they haven't faced Salah, Mane and Firmino. So I think 100% I think we can score. But we've got to play it like we did in the second leg against City. And obviously City, we conceded really early and we managed the game so well, and we only conceded 1 over that whole tie. So I think we've got to play exactly the same as we did. We've got to be solid, but we've got to give the front 3 the licence to just go and play as we have done in the home legs. If they can get us 1 goal, Roma have got to win, then score 4. So I think we've just got to play it as we have been doing, and we've got to aim to score. I think our defence is miles better than it was pre-Van Dijk, but we're still susceptible to conceding stupid goals.
It's one of those games that seems like it could be a really interesting game or a really boring game.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out next week. But say you beat Roma. How are you feeling about the final? Do you think you can do it? Do you think you can go all the way?
Honestly, this season, I think we can, There's such a buzz around our squad and the Champions League as a whole this year. I mean, our support is unreal. Again, I was mentioning to you this last night, would we prefer to play Bayern Munich or Real Madrid over 2 legs rather than a final, a one-off game? Probably, because we've got the Anfield factor then, and we can get a lead. And because we're such a good counter-attacking team, we could obviously score away goals as well. But in a one-off game against those 2 giants, obviously it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be a final, isn't it? Like, if you get there, that's what I want to see. I want to see, because I'm kind of the guy that's like, once I want an English team to be in the final. Even if I don't support them, I've got no real hatred towards many of the teams. There's a few out there, but I've always checked out for Liverpool's results because I've known you for a long time. You've known me for a long time, so you've checked out for Wednesday results, things like that. You know? So it's for me, this side's become a lot more interesting because the fact is, an English club can win the Champions League, and I lived in Liverpool for a while, obviously, so I know how much it means to the city and the fans, and that's why this is probably why I'm talking about it. To be fair, because I have got a knowledge on it because the past 4 years I lived in the centre last year, so you see all the Champions League stuff and things like that.
Yeah, but I think we've got to be confident. I mean, obviously we've still got a massive game to get through to the final, but if we can get through to the final, I think we've shown this year. I mean, we beat Man City 5-1 over 2 legs, and Man City is supposedly the best team in Europe at the moment. So we've got to be confident. And Real Madrid, I think they're third or maybe second now, but they're not been doing very well in the league. So I think if they beat Bayern Munich and get through, we've got every chance to beat them. They haven't been very good this season. On the other hand, Bayern Munich, again, they've got some seasoned pros. They've got Robben, Ribery, Lewandowski, who are top quality players on the day. If we can keep them quiet, then our front three can cause any defence in world football havoc. So it'd be really interesting to see how we get on against one of those giants. So
we'll definitely be watching it. So we'll wrap that up there because we've been talking for quite a while. I apologise for the audio on this audio quality on this video even, because we are in a room where I've not brought my audio gear and I'm not in my usual studio setup because otherwise we'd both have close mics now. So apologies about that. But thanks Adam for coming on the video.
That's very good.
We will see what happens in that semi-final next week, and if they get through to the final, of course, I will possibly do a discussion on that. I'm trying different things out on this channel, obviously. I'm talking about what I want to talk about and not being led by views and things like that. So I hope you guys do like this. And if you do, make sure you're getting active in the comments, you're leaving a like on this video, trying to bring more content to you. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all those things, and keep watching right here on DexterityBox.